Is 2024 a very important watershed moment for electric vehicles? A lot of people think so. This article says it's in the total failure mode. We'll get back to that. Here's something that may seem like a very obscure, complex financial article, but really it points a picture of what's going on with electric vehicles. So S&P, which is Standard & Poor's, or major rating agency, they have a white paper on residual value risk of EVs. What does that mean? So when vehicles are bought or leased, either financed or leased, the company that finances the vehicle or leases the vehicle has to have very good determination of what's called a residual value. What is the resale value of that vehicle? When you lease a vehicle, you lease it for 3 years. At the end of 3 years, you turn that vehicle back into the lease company and they sell it. They have to know in advance how much they're going to sell it for to know how much to lease you the vehicle for, right? So if it's a $50,000 vehicle and in 3 years it'll be worth $30,000, that means that over the course of that lease, they have to get $20,000 from you of payments. They'll get the rest of the $30,000 when they sell it, because they pay for that vehicle up front. They buy it from the dealer for full price, $50,000, and then they get their money back from your payments and when they resell it. But what happens if they figured that vehicle was going to be worth $30,000 in a few years, but it ends up being worth $15,000? Well, they're going to lose a lot of money, right? What about finance companies? Well, finance companies sometimes have to repossess vehicles, so they have to know how much these vehicles will be worth so they can repossess them and sell them. Well, if the numbers are off, these finance companies are going to lose money. If the finance companies have risk on their balance sheets, their stock goes down, their ratings go down, and that's what S&P does. So what they're doing is they're sounding an alarm on residual values, and higher exposure to EVs could increase residual value risk in the U.S. Asset-backed securities. Remember that word? Asset-backed securities is what crashed the housing market in 2008. Mortgage-backed securities. EVs currently have higher depreciation levels than internal combustion engine vehicles, which could result in lower recoveries in our analysis. So the finance companies are putting their money where their mouth is. They're lowering residual values. What about on the personal level? Here's a guy. I'm falling asleep in my car and losing money. He's having to sit in his car to charge up, and because it's cold, he's losing money on charging. He's also losing money on the value of the vehicle. Look, not to beat a dead horse or kick somebody when they're down on EVs, but there's some problems with this forced, rushed electric vehicle conversion. A lot of these mandates. Maybe it's a good time to buy a used electric vehicle if you can get a good deal on it. You want to make sure the battery's good, because the battery is most of the value of the vehicle. But it'll remain to be seen, but it seems like electric vehicles are starting to be less and less desirable. In fact, Ford just announced they are stopping shipments of the Ford Lightning truck to Ford dealers. That was a hot truck. They were selling for way over sticker, $100,000 just 6 or 8 months ago. Now they can't even sell them at a discount. What do you think about electric vehicles and the future of it? Do you think it'll happen eventually? Is it a dead issue? Is it just take more time? Or were they oversold to begin with?